Hello and welcome. My name is Maria Kliavkov, and I'm the founding director of Healthy Mourning Revolution. We are dedicated to revolutionizing the way we all think about grief and mourning. Why is this so important, particularly on this day when we're celebrating a new year? It's important because in our society, we haven't learned how to grieve and we haven't learned how to mourn. So I want to share with you when I was grieving many losses all at once, what New Year's looked like for me and what it felt like for me. The truth is, I was hurting, and I didn't have any idea of the depth of what the hurt was all about. All I knew is that I was actually scared of the grief. I decided, not consciously, just happened to be, if I just kept busy, then all would be okay. Why? Because that's what I had been taught all my life. So I spent my New Year's planning courses that I would take, thinking about what I would create for the new year for myself, not happy with my body, feeling aches and pains in my body that I couldn't even explain, making resolutions about how I was going to deal better with my body, doing all of these things, never addressing the real challenge. The real challenge was that I was grieving, and I hadn't yet figured out how to convert grief to mourning. Then one year, I decided, given all of my training in grief and loss, that surely there was something I could do about this. And I began consciously looking at every day, every week, what could I do to start trusting my grief, to allow my grief to be my guide, to allow my grief to be my teacher. And what started to happen is I started reclaiming my joy. I even remember saying to a friend that I've just lost my happy. I've lost my capacity to be happy or to feel joy in any way. And this was years after the death of a loved one. So here's the thing. If you are spending this day of New Year's, or if you are walking into the new year, wondering how you're going to get through it, making yourself busy so that you're avoiding whatever it is you may be avoiding around grief or loss. If you're feeling fearful, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling exhausted, and you know that there's something there, and you know that there's a better life that wants you to step into it. If you are carrying your grief, thinking that the grief is your way of honoring your loved one, whatever reason for your choices, I want to invite you to think about the new year in a different way. This year could be the year that you reclaim your life by discovering where your relationship with your loved one is now. See, the problem when we decide we're just going to stay in our grief and that our grief is our badge of love and honor and commitment, and it ensures that we're never going to forget our loved one, is that it locks our loved one and it locks us in place in the time of their death. Grief is a journey, and the death was a physical death, but it wasn't the death of your relationship. The grief journey is about letting go of the physical relationship so that you can find where the true relationship is now. And as you discover where that relationship is now, I guarantee you, you're going to discover and reclaim your joy and your life. So what I've created is what I refer to as the HMR program, the Healthy Mourning Revolution program, because I wrote a book that lists 52 ways to convert your grief to mourning with ease and grace. At the time I wrote it, I didn't even realize that I had written 52 ways. It wasn't until after it was published and I thought, well, how am I going to engage with the book now, that I realized there are 52 ways listed here and there are 52 weeks in a year. So I started exploring, what is it that I wrote in that book? And what started to happen is this program began to emerge. And I took the year after the publication of the book, which was 2020, which was the first year of COVID, to explore with a group of people, what did I really write? And every week we explored a different conversion technique. In the second year, I decided to curate the conversion technique so that each month we focus on a different area of the grief journey. Whether it is physical symptoms of grief, whether it's mental symptoms of grief, whether it's emotional symptoms of grief, every month we are looking at a different area until by the time we get into October and November, we're looking at the legacy, we're looking at gratitude. And we come through the year with a very different perspective. If this feels true for you, then I invite you to explore this program, see if it's right for you, see if it's a good fit for you. I believe it will be. The reason I can say this is because of the success that we have had, because of the testimonials that we have had from people who have gone through the program and have discovered that through the program, week by week, they can learn to trust their grief journey. They can learn to hear what their next steps are. The program is not about defining your next steps for you. The program is about inviting you to discover what your grief is telling you is your next steps. Every week on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, we meet live on Zoom. If you're not available, then we always make a recording. If you need to hear it a second or third time during the week, you can always go to the classroom and listen to the video. It's all designed to work with you with the grief brain that's at work right now for you. It's designed to make sure that when you hear something and you need to hear it again, it's available to you. There's no rush, there's no hurry, you move at your own pace. Once a month, because questions inevitably come up that are just too big to answer during our weekly sessions, once a month we have a Q&A, and that's on the third Thursday of the month. The Q&A is designed to answer any question that comes up for any member of the community. And here's the beautiful thing. We heal in community. We learn from each other. We didn't know we had a question until we heard somebody else's question, and then we realized that that's our question too. Together, we can move through the grief journey with ease and grace. We can discover where the relationship is now with our loved one, and we can step into our best life. If this sounds good to you, then I invite you to join us in the HMR program. You'll see that there's a discount code for you to join us. That discount code is available until January 2nd, and January 3rd, we start the program afresh, a new, brand new year. Let's find how this journey can be a healing journey for you and for all of us. I invite you into the community. If this supported you, if you heard something here that was valuable to you, then I invite you to like and share this video and help others to hear what they may need. And if this is not the year to join us in this journey, that's okay too. Join us in a live launch, join the Facebook group, join us in some way that will support you in your grief journey. It is my commitment to create compassionate grief communities worldwide. I invite you to join in this community of gentle souls looking to work through grief with ease and grace. Until next time, much love to you. Namaste.